my God.
So where were you?
We went out to eat at a place called the Yard House. They have like 150 beers on tap, 150 different beers from around the world.
Oh, that's cool.
And then they have happy hour where everything's pretty much half price.
We have the beer market, which is like that.
Oh, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Beer market sounds like a bunch of hippies sitting around hawking their homemade shit.
Yeah, but it's not.
But it's what it sounds like. And I base a lot of what I do off of how it sounds. And if that's what it sounds like, I'll pass.
Well, you're missing out.
Do they have a poutine flavored beer?
No, but they have like so many different poutine flavors. Like they have like poutine bars.
How can you have different poutine flavors? Because
we had a poutine party.
Isn't poutine just French fries and gravy?
Yeah, but you can have different flavors. Like
how? Like there's one flavor of French fry, and there's one flavor of gravy.
Yeah, but you can do things other than gravy and mix it up a little bit. Like pulled pork poutine is delicious.
So you're just putting gravy over pulled pork and calling it poutine.
No, and cheese. Cheese is a critical part of this.
Okay, but you're putting gravy and cheese over pulled pork and calling it poutine when poutine by nature is gravy over French fries.
Gravy and cheese over French fries.
But you can't call poutine if there's no French fries. I feel like that's a critical ingredient.
The French fries are there. No, it's like French fries and pulled pork.
What is
then
poutine
cheese.
anyway?
It's disgusting. You don't want to know.
It's delicious.
No, it's not. It comes from Canada.
I feel like poutine should be a whole show.
Dude, I think the Canadian dollar is pretty awesome because it's worth a lot more than the American dollar. I had a couple debating whether or not they should buy a game in my store or wait to get back to Canada. But because our taxes are a little bit cheaper.
Americans so much. No, you buy shit in America. Like I'm going to the States this weekend, and I am loading up on alcohol. And
well, right,
clothes.
because you're turning your Canadian money into American dollars, and you get a lot
that's
more.
cheating. You guys are
That's
cheating.
not cheating. We are helping your economy. Obama would be. I don't love have this shit. Romney would be like, "Go for it," and I'm in Massachusetts, so he'll be all over that.
See, I don't have that option because I live by Mexico.
Drugs.
You know what? You're right. I feel like we started this show without starting it, so let's just.
All right.
Let's impromptu start this thing here. So, hey, you know what? It's a few minutes late. Welcome to the show. You're listening to Factory Sealed.
Episode 3.
This is episode 3. We've made it. We're a day late. I was listening back to the old shows and I realized I never introduced myself. I don't like to introduce myself.
Because no one cares. Just kidding.
This is the wonderful voice of Eric Peterson.
Oh, thanks. You know, I gotta admit, I've noticed in the past couple weeks of teaching that I've been teaching in different classrooms, and for the first time ever, whenever I introduce myself, kids are starting to laugh. Like, why?
Because you have Peter in your name.
Yeah. And then you know, my whole thing is like, hey,
Peter.
So-and-so's not here, so, you know, my name's Mr. Peterson. You could call me Mr. Peterson or Mr. P, and, like, the whole fucking class just erupts. And, like, in the past 2 weeks, that's the only time that's ever happened. Ever.
Mr. P.
Mr. P.
Whatever. All right, we got Aaron Robison here, the man from Rochester.
Woo! Yeah, I'm lucky to be here today.
Yeah, you're gonna. I heard you got yourself a motorcycle.
I had an ouchie yesterday.
Did you?
I'm so excited for the story.
Did you? Oh, we got Jess here too. Let's get Jess Clarkson in there before Aaron indulges us with his wonderful riding skills.
I'm so pumped for the story though. Doesn't matter. Let's go.
Oh, all right.
Did you dump it?
I dumped it.
Oh my!
It threw me about 15, 20 feet. That's a lie. It probably only threw me about 2 feet, but
it felt like 15.
It sure did. Oh man! All right, guys. So I got my motorcycle license this summer. It's something I've been wanting to do, and I went out looking for a bike, and I found this V-Strom that I really like. I really like that style of bike. It's tall. It can do on and off road. And but this bike in particular that I bought is 1,000 cc's, and it is way too big.
Yeah, that's way too much horsepower for a beginner.
It's got way too much. Now, the reason why I bought it is because, one, I could afford it. Two, when I took the test drive, I went to a stop sign and had it fall over, and I broke the blinker.
So you pretty much had to buy it.
I pretty much had to buy it.
You break it, you buy it.
Yeah, kind of thing. And so then I buy it, and I've been trying to take it out every day. I got it home on Tuesday, and last night I'm out, and I'm taking it out by these cul-de-sacs. There's no houses. And I'm going through the curves, around the cul-de-sacs, just getting used to the big bike and learning how to stop quickly and all that kind of stuff. And I'm doing really good. I'm getting on my last cul-de-sac, and I'm getting there way too fast, and I'm in the middle of a turn. So I, of course, bring the bike up straight to put on the brake, and then do a quick stop. Well, the tires on the back is very bald, and he told me that when I bought the bike. And I don't know if it was just me turning the wheel while I was braking, or if it's the tires had no traction. But I ended up putting that bike on the ground, and I went with it.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so I have a nice big old bunch of scratches on the side of my bike now.
Wow.
And,
what year is the bike? Is it pretty new?
It's an 06.
Oof.
So it's a little older, but it was almost like brand new.
What's your was your leg crammed under it as you were sliding? Was this like a cool Transformers move under the Decepticon shooting up at the nuts?
Something like that, yeah.
So no Transformers were involved.
No, unfortunately, that would have been sweet, and then it could have caught me, the bastards.
Yeah,
but
were there people around?
No, nobody was around. Luckily,
that you know of.
I'm sure there was some guy with his camera with the YouTube. I'll be on there somewhere, and they're going to see me flying from the house. But yeah, I fell and hurt my knee a little bit. I didn't really feel my knee until, of course, I got back home, and then I got off the bike and pushed it in the garage, and I was like, I can't move my leg. But now I can move it just fine, and everything's good. And
see, that was the one piece of advice when I bought my motorcycle was buy a really cheap, shitty bike that if you dump it, you don't care, and the thing weighs like 300 pounds. I bought I think it was a Yamaha XT350. The thing was 300 pounds full of gas.
right.
And never once dumped it. I've never had an accident. Actually, I've never had an accident in any vehicle, but, I'd...
Knock on wood.
Yeah.
Well, that's good.
No, because I said I had never broken a bone, and then I broke my foot this summer.
Ooh. Well, I've got you guys beat on bone breaking, I guarantee.
How much does your bike weigh? That thing, I'm looking at a picture one. That thing looks
got to weigh about 1,000 pounds.
Oh my God.
At least.
That's crazy. Did you do any damage to like the fork or the handlebars?
No, they're okay. The throttle, like a little piece in the throttle got bent a little bit, but I mean that was not the throttle piece itself, just like a little. I don't know what that little piece is on the very.
Pretty much the only thing that got hurt was your pride.
Pretty much.
And the turn signal.
And my confidence level, like that really took a dip on my confidence level.
I can imagine.
But yeah, so all you guys out there, the youngsters trying to get a bike, definitely get one that is a smaller one, like Tigger was saying at first off. There's definitely more bikes than I ever used.
Don't start with crotch rockets either.
I figured this would be a nice way because once I learn how to use it, I don't have to worry about upgrading ever again. So,
yeah, no kidding. That's crazy. My first bike was only 350cc, and I could not imagine starting out on 1,000.
Yeah.
That's nuts.
All I want to do is go down a straightaway and about 3,000 times, and then I'll be good to go. just don't ride around anywhere where you have to turn. Yeah, that's right. That's right.
See, there's no way that I think I could do a motorcycle. Like, I was playing Saints Row again recently. I have a really pretty purple moped in that game because motorcycles, I can't do. So I can only imagine how awful I would be in real life.
It was kind of scary because I didn't take any sort of riding classes. Did you do like the A-Bates course or anything?
No, I did the local college here. Did the basic rider course.
Yeah, not me. I basically went to the DMV, took my permit test, and then taught myself. Which was.
Do you guys have to have a special license to drive motorcycles?
Yes.
Yeah, you have to do the endorsement.
Yep. For a while, that was one of the only endorsements I didn't have on my license. That and hazardous material. Otherwise, I had pretty much everything else you could possibly imagine.
You had like DZ, like the big like tractor trailers?
I was a school bus driver. So I had passenger, I had school bus, I had air brakes, I had everything. Yeah. It was pretty sweet. Huh. That's how I made my living through college, driving vehicles.
College.
What do you guys call it? Uni?
But like
university.
you go to college or university, so yeah, like college or uni.
Is college
I don't
up
know
in
if people
Canada
say
like
uni.
the really cheap, lame technical colleges like we have, the 2-year degrees?
It's like a 2-year diploma.
Oh. Well, then I'm going to start saying university because I don't want people to think I'm undereducated.
I'm sure they can get that from the way you speak.
So I got this tweet, guys.
You suck. Is this a question? Like, should we do this now or should we do this at the end?
I think this is a good one to start with.
Oh, heavens.
It's a starter question.
Okay.
And I'm not sure if Jim McCavity here has ever listened to our show before.
Has anybody? I feel like we're just some talking heads in a dark room.
I'm pretty
We
sure.
listen to
He
ourselves.
has.
Yeah.
But he asks, he asks all three of us, Jessica and Honest Pizza, what's your favorite retro game and what exactly do you like about it?
Oh yeah, I got that. I just looked at. I got that tweet too.
Yeah, we got it about 28 minutes ago.
Oh,
Oh,
sweet.
I feel like
Well, you know what? Let's save that for later.
You want to save that for later?
Yeah,
All right.
that was the appetizer question, but it's like they set the appetizer down. They're like, oh, we brought this out too early.
All right.
So we're gonna save it
That's what you want to do.
because we played some games this week. At least I
that's
did.
true.
I think we all finally got around to it. Hey,
I
there's the
played some.
dog. This podcast would not be complete without your dog.
She's our
Well,
mascot.
Brad likes to be part of it.
Oh heavens.
Well,
So
let's
what did
talk
we
about
play
you guys
this
played
week?
the same game, so
We
let's listen
did.
to you guys.
I feel like Jess and I decided on what we were going to play, and then 5-6 days later, we said, "Oh, we should probably let Aaron know what we're playing," and that didn't turn out so well. We settled on the oldie but the goodie Rygar. I don't know what brought that up, but
Well, it was one of the games that one of the fans want us to play.
well, I think I mentioned it.
Back.
I mentioned it in one of the first podcasts, just off the top of my head. I mentioned that, and then Vic Mees, one of our faithful listeners, said you should play the PS2 version, which I never did, and that kind of got me thinking. I never beat the original, so here we are. Finally sat down and played through it, and I want to hear Jess's feelings about this because she and I were exchanging thoughts on it as she was playing through it, and it was quite comical. So
Well,
if you don't know, Rygar is, I guess, how would you classify that game? It's a side-scrolling. It's not a platformer. It's kind of like the retro version of an action adventure game. It's got some
Yeah.
RPG elements to it, although they're very, very, but as deep as a puddle. And then the rest of it is just your generic side-scroller. You got the disc armor and one attack, and that's about it.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't remember how long it took me to beat. I always remember never beating it as a kid because I didn't understand what the hell to do. And I'm starting to realize that with a lot of retro games as I go back and play them again. It's like, how did I ever get through these damn games? Because there's no direction. Like we were talking about with Faxanadu last week. There is absolutely no direction in that game. And Rygar kind of follows along with that too. But Jess, how far did you ultimately end up making it?
I ended up, I don't even know. I was so lost in that game. Like,
Did-
so unbelievably lost.
So you on that first level, it's kind of set up with worlds, and then there are the big Garlaws plains, and I think Garlaws is what they're called.
Was that
Yeah,
the game?
I was in the plane. I went across the rope bridge. Like, I went up and around the rope bridge.
Mm-hmm.
And then I got to the point where they said that I needed some sort of, what's it called?
The crossbow or the
After the crossbow.
You have the crossbow? Did you get like I think it was like a little pulley that allows you to swing on those ropes?
That, but I never got it, and I didn't know how to use it. So I just ended up walking back and forth aimlessly, and then I ended up at the beginning of the game again.
Yeah.
And I just had no idea what I was doing.
It's goofy because they have those big, I don't even know what you would call them, those Buddha type guys that hide out in the top of the towers, and
Yeah.
they pretty much don't tell you anything. They just say, if you want to talk to Garlaws or Gorlab or whatever you want to call them, you're going to need the crossbow.
Grappling hook.
Yeah, the grappling hook. There it is. But the game, the way that it's set up, the best I can explain it to you is that the Garlaws plains kind of act as this central hub, and then there's I want to say 6 different worlds that you can go into around
I
the
think
plains.
8.
Yeah, there's quite a few, and you have to do them in a specific order to
Yeah.
get the different items to allow you into the next one. But again, it does absolutely nothing for telling you where to go and how to do it. But you said you did get the pulley, though?
Yeah, but then I didn't know how to use it because it ended up, I don't think it was coming up on my item screen or somehow to select it. So I kind of gave up. But
Yeah.
it was so funny when I was playing it because like Andrew was in the room with me, and one second I would be like, I freaking hate retro games. Oh my god, I hate this so much. And then the next second I would be like, oh my god, it's so much fun. I love retro games. Like felt totally bipolar with that because there's so many things like that are so much more difficult, but then at the same time, it's more simplistic, so it's a lot more fun and entertaining.
Well, that game, you don't have an item list. It's as long as you're standing in the correct spot and you have the item in your inventory somewhere, it'll automatically use it. Like out on the Garlaws Plains with those ropes that go across the river, you have to be in the exact perfect spot to hook onto it. Otherwise you fall in the river and die and have to start all over again.
Oh, that really pissed me off.
Yeah, especially if you're on the other side of the plains and there is the door's right on the other side and you know, you fought your way over there and you fall right into the water. And there's one particular towards the end of the game that it's a pain in the ass to try to hook yourself on. And then when you have the grappling hook inside the levels and you see those tree stumps that shoot if you stand there and then press the attack button, it automatically shoots it across. And for some reason, Rygar can defy the laws of physics and grappling hook and then roll up the rope. So,
but that's not, now that grappling you guys are talking about, that's not actually, because that's part of the weapon that he uses, if I remember right.
Well, he's got the.
It's like a shield, and then it has like a chain attached to it.
Yeah.
That's what he uses.
Yeah, but that's not the same thing. There's a different grappling hook that shoots out his infinite supply of rope, and then he has this ancient pulley that you ride across on it.
Okay, because I just remember, that's all I remember was like the shield with a chain on it or something.
What's really cool about that game though is that there's no save system, so you do have to beat it in one sitting if you're actually playing it on the old console. But It doesn't take that long to beat. You can die as many times as you want. When you die, you just go back to the
last door you went through.
Yeah, it's
sometimes.
The last door. But I don't know if you picked up on this. There were some levels later where you're kind of going through the swamps. Did you get to the swamp levels?
No.
There's one. Actually, this works with pretty much any of the enemies, and this is what I love about old NES games is the screen flicker. And when you go off the screen just a smidge, like if there's a really difficult enemy just on the edge of the screen, especially in Rygar, if you move off just a little bit to where the screen flickers over that enemy and then move back, they disappear. So if you want to abuse the system that way, it's quite a blast. The only difficulty that I really ran into with that game was at the final boss, and I will admit I was playing this one on an emulator, and because I have never been able to find an actual copy of this game. I was actually at the store today looking for it and still couldn't find it. But I played through the entire game without using the emulator save states, like we were talking about before, because I wanted to have the most authentic experience you really could. But once you get towards the end of the game, you get a full life potion. That you get one. That's it. Before you climb up into these clouds and you have to take on... I don't know. There's absolutely no story to this game.
Yeah.
And apparently you're this ancient Roman warrior who's trying to restore peace to the land or whatever.
There's like dinosaurs and flying seahorses and turtle-y things.
Well, you get up to the top, and apparently there's this huge castle floating in the sky, and it's the most difficult level. It's a top-down level, so you're working at it that way. But you have to go through 18 different rooms before you get to the room with the final boss, and once you get into the final boss, he's ungodly difficult. So if you get in there and you don't know what you're doing and you use your potion right away, you're fucked. So I just said, as kind of a precautionary measure, I did a save state right before I went in with my full potion and got my ass thoroughly handed to me. And I said, thank God I save stated. So I'll admit I did cheat a little bit to beat it, because I finally went in and just kept hitting reload. I think it took me about 15, 20 tries, and I have no idea how anybody would beat that had they used their potion and gone back in without that full life potion. It's crazy hard at the end of that game.
And it's funny how non-forgiving the older games were as well. Like I was just exploring like some of the stuff too. I got to one ledge where I couldn't see anything and I wasn't sure where I was supposed to go. So I was like, let's just jump off and see what happens. And it's like game over. It's like, no.
Well, what's interesting about that too is that sometimes you get to those and they don't explain this. You have that grappling hook where you can shoot up onto the trees and like pull yourself up. They don't tell you that there are certain areas where you have to go to those ledges where there's nothing to do and then either drop yourself down or climb up. There's no indication whatsoever that that's what you have to do. So for the longest time, I was walking around just shooting the grappling hook up, seeing what would connect, and occasionally you get something, whether it leads anywhere, if it's just a dead end. They're really unforgiving. I enjoy it. That game was fantastic.
Yeah, I loved it, but I hated it when it wasn't working for me. But then the next second I was like having a blast anyway, so.
Aaron, have you ever played this one or not?
Yeah, I did play it a long time ago. I guess I could remember some of the stuff you guys were talking about. And I just remember, the only thing I remember is that shield thing with the chain.
Yeah. I think the reason that it stuck with me so much, and we talked about this on the last show, is the music from the first and second levels. For some reason, when I think of retro games, the theme for Rygar just pops into my head instantly. I have no idea why. It's really not even that good of a tune, but it's like the ultimate adventure plowing through. It's like at sunset, and it just matches the theme of the game perfectly, and it was good to relive it. And then VicMe's popped on and said, hey, play the sequel. And I knew the sequel existed. I never bought it, but I finally found a copy of it floating around at one of the local shops, and
Is it the PS2 version?
Yeah.
Or that was like wasn't it a re-release? I think that was just re-released.
I don't know. I just know that it came out. The original release of it came out in 2002, and I gotta say I was pleasantly surprised with it, but I couldn't help but notice that this game played almost identically to God of War. But it's not fair to call it a God of War clone because it came out 3 years before God of War. So what's really strange to me is I wonder if the team at the team behind God of War looked at this, because for all intents and purposes, these games, Rygar is a spitting image of God of War. Yeah, it's a little bit shittier. It plays a little bit like a cross between God of War and the original Devil May Cry. And, that's not a bad thing, because I love the original Devil May Cry. But the animations were crappy. You have your square attack, which looks just like Kratos' attack. And then you have your triangle power attack, which looks just like Kratos' power attack. But unlike in God of War, where you can switch your direction that you're attacking at any time, this one, you start your animation, you have to wait for it to finish, and it gets pretty annoying. But for me, spitting image. Like, if you want to play a game that would have been God of War had God of War been really crappy, play Rygar.
All right. I'm definitely going to give it a shot. I think it's on the Wii Shop channel. I may have to play
Well,
it that way.
they have a you're talking about the NES version.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll play the PS2 one too. I have that at work.
They released a Wii version as well. Battle for Argon?
Oh yeah.
What do you know about that?
I
I didn't even know that existed.
Well, now you mention it. Yeah, I think it looked like one of those really crappy Wii games. I mean,
see, I didn't know it existed. I had absolutely no
you have
idea.
to be a little bit more specific.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll give them both a shot here.
Jess, do you think you're gonna finish it? Did it pique your interest enough to see the end?
I want to, but I just don't have time.
Yeah. Well, the ending was.
So that's like I used the free state a lot just because I didn't have time to sit down at one time. So I was definitely a cheater with that. But
I think it took me a good 4.5 hours, but I had a Saturday afternoon laying around, and the ending was very disappointing because I don't know if my emulator froze or whatnot, because I got to the end and then it gives like this really goofy picturesque, and Rygar saved and then it like cut off mid-sentence and just nothing was there, and I let the music kept looping and looping and looping and looping, and Oh, well, I guess I'm not going to find out what Rygar did.
Oh,
But in that case, I like it because I got to make up my own little adventure. So Rygar could have been doing whatever he wanted.
or whoever he wanted to.
Ooh.
Good God.
Good God. Good God.
Aaron, what'd you play this week?
Well, I played a little Iron Sword, Wizards and Warriors 2.
I got some words for you about that game.
I bet you there's going to be a lot of words, and my wife doesn't like most of the words that came out of my mouth while I played that game.
I don't want to say the game sucks because I'm going to try really hard not to pass just super critical judgment on retro games because they're so old, but Jesus Christ, that game's hard.
No, it's beyond hard. It's a pain in the ass.
Break it down for me.
All right, so it's the sequel to a game that came out earlier, which I gotta find it because I don't remember playing it, but it's like the Wizards and Warriors game, which I think was pretty similar to like the text type game that came out.
Yeah, I guess I didn't know that was a sequel until I looked closer at the cartridge.
Right, with Fabio on the cover there, that sexy.
Yeah,
Fabio.
That's what I was just gonna say. Like that just won me over for life. It's Fabio.
I remember. Funny thing about it, I also remember the commercial. I think that was on TV when the game came out.
I miss old retro commercials.
And that was really good. I think he came. Some night came into this boy's room. He was playing the original Wars Warrior, and then I remember like there was a dog whose tail was on fire. So I think that something happened to his dog when the knight left the room or whatever. I don't remember, but it was really funny. But anyway, yeah. So Iron Sword, you play as a character. Who you don't find out his name. I think I found an old note thing that I had, and I think his name is Kuros or something like that. Kairos.
The knight's name?
The knight's name, yeah. I think it's Kuros is what I wrote down on my sheet that I found.
Do you just have like notebooks filled with old retro gaming thoughts and maps and?
I do, and I was telling you I was trying to find this notebook, and I finally found it, and I'm missing about 3 or 4 pages off of it.
Heavens.
So I'm kind of mad, but I found all my codes and all my Mega Man passwords and all my NES games codes that I found.
This is what gaming was like before the internet existed. I remember having just swaths of notebooks or pieces of paper filled with those Mega Man passwords.
All right.
Binders.
Oh
yeah.
Yeah. And then this one here,
Trapper Keepers.
You start on a on this. They just showed this mountain, and you're supposed to collect a sword and this like metal this armor that you get as you go through these different levels. And the bad guy, this evil wizard, decided to take over all 4 elements, and that's who he's become. So you basically go through all 4 and fight all 4 elements through the game. And it's you jump around from spot to spot and fight bad guys. But again, it's one of those ones where the bad guys get to move all over the place.
Wait, where did you come up with the storyline for this? Because I got none of that.
I Wikipedia'd it.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, because after I pressed start, it just dropped me in. I got no...
He's artistic like that.
This was also... I remember having a guide, and I remember part of it, and then as I read the Wikipedia, it made more sense to me, because I remember reading that in the book. And
okay, but time out. I just found the NES commercial for Iron Sword, and he nailed the dog tail that was on fire. So, like, I feel like Aaron's brain is Dr. House-esque, and he just recalls
It's full of
stuff.
random useless information.
Wow. I'll watch that later. That's crazy. Good old Fabio just busts into this kid's bedroom. Play my game.
So
where's Chris Hansen when you need him?
And also, by the way, I found my Faxanadu copy as well, so I played a little bit of that. Now, remember I told you I had the book and everything with it. So on the back of this box, it tells you what you're supposed to. It tells you everything that is happening in this game. So I could read that to you guys if you want. It's really amazing.
Oh, please do.
Here, my game, my copy is defunct. I get so far and it sends me back to the title screen.
What?
I can only play for 10 minutes and it'll send me to the stupid start game screen.
10 minutes?
I was I was telling Jess that I found 2 copies of Faxanadu at my local gaming store, and they were only $4, but I could not bring myself to buy either copy of them because there were little rips in the sticker.
Oh.
Couldn't do it. It would just drive me nuts. All of my retro games are in like pristine condition. And I was back there today and I saw 2 more, and guess what? Somebody had drawn on them with marker. Come on, people. If you're going to draw on something with marker, at least make it a shitty game.
Did they do mustaches or something fun?
No, it's like, this game belongs to Timmy. Like, why don't you do that on a shitty copy of Dick Tracy or something?
Right. So you want the Faxanadu synopsis?
Well, I want to talk to you about Iron Sword.
Oh, let's go to Iron Sword. I'm sorry, I got off topic again. All right, so Iron Sword. Yeah, so I'm playing this, and I'm getting through my levels, and I'm getting up there. And I'm to the point now where I'm in the Fire Mountain, and it's lava everywhere. There's this lava shooting out of here and shooting out of there, and then the birds are back, and I have this nice suit of armor on. And it's driving me insane. I cannot get past this part. I keep finding there's like these little, he keeps signing okay, now I'm reading what you guys are typing here, and it's really funny. Okay, so
don't worry about it.
And there's all these secret passages that you can get into, and you're supposed to find the one secret passages, and it leads to, like, there's food, or there's magic, or there's gold, and there's a chest. And the one spot you need to get to is in these holes, but you got to find them. And I cannot seem to find this one spot where I'm supposed to go in and fall the correct way. Because when you go in, you automatically just start falling down. So, and sliding and everything, and I can't get it. So that's where I ended up on Iron Sword.
So I know I contacted you about how the hell do you get past the first screen. That's how
yes.
that's how much I sucked at this game. Because, and maybe you can clarify this for me. Do you actually have to swing your sword to kill things, or can you just be facing them and have them run into you and have them die?
They if you have the sword pointed at them and they run into the sword, they will die. But you do need to have your sword swinging to actually affect them. But it sucks because, like I said, you have to hit them just right, and it's almost impossible.
Basically, the 2 hours I played that game, I never actively tried to kill anything. I basically just hoped that I had enough health to get to the next roasted turkey.
And that's exactly why I started playing like that.
Well, and they didn't explain in the beginning. I got up to the part where you needed the big egg, and it's just this picture. I couldn't tell if it was like a Rocky Mountain oyster or if it was like an old meatball. I couldn't tell what it was. So there was no clarification on, hey, you need this to move on. So eventually I fell off of a cliff and haphazardly picked up the egg. And then I couldn't make my way back up there because for some reason this mountain has water slides built into it.
Obviously.
Oh, yeah, it makes total sense. So once I finally got back up there, I got to that shitty tornado level. And yeah, it was neat that you could use the clouds as like little trampolines to bounce yourself, but when you got tornadoes and green booger monsters coming after you,
freaking tornado is a freaking nightmare.
Is it like a boss tornado or just the little tornadoes?
It's just there to get you in your way. It's just in the way. You get up to the top and you have to fight the big cloud-looking face guy. That's like the first boss. And that's
I thought it was really strange. You were talking about the secret rooms. I thought it was really strange how they placed those. Because I would just I would fall down
fighting,
and be like,
and all of a sudden
boom, there you
down,
go. You're in a secret room.
And then some of those secret rooms have secret rooms inside of them. And it's like, Jesus.
And then if you don't remember how you got into that secret room, like if you're still walking and all of a sudden you go through the secret room and you're still walking, you don't know where the exit is.
Right.
Oh,
yeah, sometimes you have to go out the same way you
theme,
came in.
I think.
Yeah.
It's like critical thinking skills and memory and location.
Screw that. If I don't have a mini map in the corner with a compass telling me exactly where to go and then a menu button where I can go back and reread the narrative.
And here's the deal,
and
too.
To highlight the location to select and it'll guide you there.
I hope people pick up on the sarcasm on that. Maybe not. No.
So
no lies.
I think I might
You're lazy.
Oh, it's
so. Yeah, the game, by the way, I was reading some articles here too, doing some research on it because they were talking about it as well, and it got good reviews. It was I think it was rated as one of the best games at NES when it came out, and the innovative gameplay. Visually it was like a big game. And then
it was kind of cartoony. It was really
but then
cool.
at the same point, it's a pain in the ass. Like it's not hard; it's literally a pain in the ass. Because especially that stupid tornado, and then you can't sit there and like try to judge their actions. You know what I mean? Like, okay, they're gonna come at this point, and if I jump here, I'll be okay. Because it's so random when they come at you.
Well, and your motions are really, really robotic too. They're very forward, backward, up, down. Like there's no angular motions.
Right. Yeah, and that's a big pain in the butt.
Are you trying to figure out who T-Pain is?
No, I know who T-Pain is.
Okay, I just guessed. Am I right?
I don't know. Does it sound like T-Pain?
Yeah.
I guess people will say that. I don't know.
Oh, okay, whatever.
T-Pain is the auto-tune guy. T-Pain's awesome.
I would take him on a boat.
I would take him on a boat too.
I don't think I would.
With my flippy floppies.
Flippy flop. We call them thuckers.
Thuckers.
That's the sound they make.
Thuckers?
Thuckers. Because then it sounds like you're swearing, but you're really not. You're just talking about your shoes.
Like literally, like flip-flops or like thong sandals are called thuckers?
Yes, because that's the sound they make. Thuck, thuck, thuck.
Is this like, okay, when you say we call them this, are you talking about you and that's it? Or
it's possibly just me and my family, but I'm hoping we're not the only ones.
I've never heard of that term before.
Son of a bitch.
I need to Google this.
And we're from the same area, so it's probably not very widespread.
All right.
I'm going to have some stern words with my mother about what she taught me.
She probably was just trying to tell you. She was trying to call
anything.
you that word. She just came up with thuckers. She's like, get your thuckers on. Let's get out of here.
But Mom, I'm wearing sneakers.
I like it.
Wow.
So this discussion and fight has been going on for like a long time with me and my husband, because if you were to tell your friends or your mom hey, what are you doing right now, I'm gonna go call on my friends, so I'm gonna go knock on their door and see if they're ready to play. Would you say I'm gonna call on them or not?
No, that's dumb.
Who says that anymore? Dumb? That's a very common, that's an old-fashioned term, call on them.
Yeah.
So what would you say?
I'm going to go call my friends and see if they're ready. Or is she going to physically call them, or are you going to their house?
I'm going to their house, I'm going to go call on them.
I'm going to my friend's house to see if they're ready. How hard is that?
Okay, I feel like I need to end this because I clearly am the only one who says I'm going to go call on my friends.
That's so old. That's from the 1920s and 30s.
I feel like that'd be even further back than that. You'd have
maybe back before telephones were actually real popular.
Like a guy with a monocle drinking a nice scotch. I'll go call on my friends.
I'm not against you, Jessica. I'm probably on your side because
I'm classy
phrase.
like that.
Yeah.
Well, how did we get here?
It started with her husband talking about something else.
So, Jess, did you play anything else this week? You mentioned something about Metroid.
Yeah, I played Metroid, which was really fun.
The original NES one?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I played that on the emulator as well.
I found my original copy of that, and for some reason I could not get it to work.
Not even with your 2 Jimmy Jammy games in there?
No, Aaron, was that you telling me about the did you say Jimmy Jammy?
Yeah.
Jimmy Jammy. It's like Fluffy Floppies.
Was that you telling us about how you used to cram 2 games into the NES to get it to work?
That was not me.
You did it, though.
You posted a picture of it.
Maybe that was, I bet you that was somebody, I bet you that was either Kev or Swag that was telling me about it. Anyways, it helped me because it got my Mario 3 to work in my NES. Anyway.
My games, when I can't get them to work, by the way, I don't push it down then. I just leave it up and it works.
Yeah. I didn't know that could work.
Yeah, apparently. Every game that I can't get to work when it's down, I leave up and it works.
Wow.
And some games don't work up, so I don't know. It's goofy.
The power of being up.
Right.
Jess, Metro. Just go on. Just go with it.
All right. So, I'm thinking of a game that we should play for the next week.
Well, I want to hear
Next
Jess's
episode.
thoughts on Metroid.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh yes,
Man,
Metroid.
I'm always all over the place. My robot brain is one track.
Well, I started playing and I was like, I'm going to do this right. I'm not going to use any cheats or codes. I'm going to do this. And then I was running out of time. So I definitely used Narpus?
What
Whatever.
the hell are you
Napris.
trying to say?
Napris Sword is like the cheat that gets you everything.
Oh,
So you have like unlimited health, unlimited ammo, everything. And so I had gotten pretty far, and then I realized that I didn't have time to finish the game, so then I went the cheat route.
I don't know what it is, but I've never been a fan of Metroid.
I think there's a soft spot inside just because of Samus.
Because it's one of the strongest female heroines in gaming.
Yeah. Yep, that would be it.
I could see that. I did like Super Metroid. I played through that. I never played through all of the NES one, but I've never touched any of the first-person Metroids.
It's, like, the NES one was tricky. Like, there's some spots where I seriously was swearing and yelling. But, yeah, I really liked it, though.
I think that game is set up... I for some reason, when I had my NES set, I was just flipping through my games that I had, and I popped in Castlevania, the original one. And when I worked at GameStop years back, everybody was just obsessed with the Castlevanias that were coming out for the DS and everything. You know, the original side-scrolling ones. And I'd never played any of them. I have all three of the original NES ones, and it's Metroid's kind of set up like Castlevania 2, where it's just one big world or one big side-scrolling world, like you're in a big castle, but in Metroid it's a spaceship, right?
Yeah, with like different like levels, and I got lost again because there's so many different like you had to sometimes drop beneath floors and then blow up a specific tunnel that could get you into another level, but then some would just get you more energy and then you had to go back, and it was
I feel like that's an important thing that gaming has lost. We do kind of coddle gamers with what I mean, I know that a lot of it is really beneficial, because imagine playing Skyrim without a map or a compass. You wouldn't know where to go. So some games need that, but I think sometimes it's a little overdone.
We've become lazy.
Yeah.
With that respect. But then I was thinking too, it was really interesting, like one of the things that kind of stood out to me when I was playing Metroid again was looking at all the cheats that were available, because there is oh, now I'm not going to remember. I keep wanting to say Justin Bieber, but it's not Justin Bieber.
Foresight.
Yeah, that would be hilarious, actually. But codes that were available for games, like, you didn't have the internet to tell you all of the different codes. And it's Justin Bailey. Now I just remember.
Oh,
Bieber,
yeah.
Bailey, similar. But how codes would be, like, spread from, like, word to mouth. Like, you had a game and, like, people would be like, oh, write down all these codes. This will get you this and this and this.
There was an old airplane game that I used to play. It was kind of along the lines of 1943, but I think it was a little bit more futuristic. And my dad was redoing the basement when I was a kid, and for some reason I kept bothering him because I wanted to play with all the power tools. And so we went out and rented this game, and I couldn't beat it, so I was asking him for codes like he would know. And he would just take this notepad and just fill them up with random numbers and letters. And I spent all afternoon plugging in every single one he gave me.
That's amazing. Great parenting right there.
I look back on that, I'm like, Dad, did you just do that to get me to shut up? He's like, yeah. I knew that those codes wouldn't work, and it kept me busy for hours because he probably gave me 200 of them.
Your dad is a genius.
Oh, it was fantastic. Jerk.
I'm so impressed right now.
I'm going to give him a high five every single time.
But I miss that. There's a lot of games that don't have cheats anymore. I mean, Saints Row 2, I was playing that a little bit ago, and it has cheats that you can enter that are really goofy and whatnot, but games don't have cheats built into them anymore.
Do you have those friends when you're growing up that wouldn't give you the code, the passcode to the last boss battle or something like that?
I was one of those people that wouldn't do it.
You wouldn't do that? Like, I had a friend of mine who, like, Punch-Out was the example. Like, I couldn't get past a certain point at one guy, and he would not give me the code to get to Mike Tyson.
Oh.
And I was like, get the code.
I played all the Mega Mans, so I had like all these passcodes for how to get to any character or any boss or any level in any of the Mega Mans, and all my friends sucked at the Mega Man games and they wanted the codes. I'm like, no, because this is that was like the trophy system back then, because I know how to get to that level and you don't, so screw you. And like that made me cool.
Yeah, I
You're
feel
like the
like
kid with the
your
power glove.
coolness was established by video games. Like, oh, you can be my friend and you can come over and play all my cool systems that my grandma bought me.
Shut up.
And then I might give you some of the codes if you're nice to me.
You're so mean to me.
Can you imagine Eric Peterson as that kid in the Wizard movie, like with the kid with the power glove?
It's so
He'd come
bad.
over. It's so bad. He puts it on. He's like playing. I'm not sharing my code with you, punk.
If only he knew the truth behind his words when he spoke those. It's so bad.
It is a terrible.
I'm gonna need to get my hands on one of those to a working one to see what it's really all about.
Oh,
But
man.
I was gonna ask you guys. I read an article this week about game collecting, and we were originally going to incorporate a lot of game collecting stuff on our podcast, and I still plan on it. Hopefully Ben will join us at some point and kind of enlighten us, because he's the collector of collectors. But I fancy myself a pretty good game collector and know what's going on. But I read an article that said why people collect, or basically why people buy games. It wasn't so much geared towards retro gaming as it was just, if you look at your shelf, how many of those games that you own have you actually played, first of all, and then how many have you actually played through to completion? And the general synopsis of the whole article was, people just like to have games. Like, they just like to own games. And I think I very firmly fall into that category. Like, I think I'm beyond that. I obsess over just owning games. Because I looked at my list of PS3 games that I own. I think it's upwards of 100. And of those 100, I probably haven't even put 15 of them into my system. And of those 100, I probably haven't beaten more than half.
Huh.
I'm with you there.
What's that?
I'm right on the same par with you.
Well, and you look at my PS1 collection, and it's just filled with RPGs. I mean, I'm talking like 50 old retro RPGs for PS1. I mean, these games are 100 plus hours each. There's no way in hell I'm ever going to play all of those. I just obsess over owning it and having it in my collection.
See, but do you borrow games? Like, would you lend out your games to someone?
No. Unless it's somebody that I truly knew and trusted would take care of it. The only person that I actually lend my games to is my sister. That's it.
I'm in the same boat unless it's a game that I'm not worried about.
Yeah. I mean,
I
like,
think I measure it more with time. Like, can I deal without having this game in my house?
yeah, and that's kind of the stance that I'm taking right now with Borderlands 2, is every waking day I want to go out and buy that game, but I have to practice a little self-control. But then on the other hand, I was at the game shop today and walked out with 3 games that I've been looking for quite a while. And again, I don't think I'm going to play them, but I just wanted to have them, and they were cheap. Like, I picked up on PS1 Tenchu Stealth Assassins. Were we talking about that a while ago?
I think we were talking about Tenchu in the first podcast, or last podcast, maybe.
Yeah, and I saw it, and I'm like, boy, I haven't seen this game since I was a kid, and it was $4. Like, sure, I'll buy it. I might put it in for 10 minutes and relive some old nostalgia, and then it'll sit on my case for another 15 years. And then I picked up... Oh, it's too late. It is far too late. And then I picked up Onimusha Warlord simply because I hadn't seen it since I bought my PS2, and it was the first game that I had on my PS2.
Your one that your grandma shouldn't have bought you.
But she did.
It's too bad you don't have an Xbox.
I do.
You do have an Xbox 360?
Oh, yeah.
Well, are you willing to play Borderlands 2 on an Xbox 360?
Can you get me a free copy?
Well, I have 2 copies of it.
Woo!
I got one today from Randy Pitchford.
Tell me about that.
Huh.
How'd you get a personalized letter from Randy Pitchford?
Yeah.
It's at the GameStop Expo, not Sexpo, Jess.
Thanks for making that clarification.
You're welcome. At the Expo, there was a escalator incident during one of the conferences. I think I might have shared the story with you guys before. But
No, I haven't heard it.
Oh, there were 3 escalators. They were all going up, and so people were in line to go up the escalators, and we were actually in line too to go up. And right before we got in the line and stuff, all of a sudden the one in the middle decided to go down really fast, and nobody knew what was happening. So there was a big pile of people.
Wait, so it was originally going up and then it reversed?
Yes.
Okay.
And so a lot of people got hurt during that incident. I don't know what's so funny about this.
Who gets hurt in an escalator incident? Like, it's just one of those things that you can't make this shit up.
I know, but you got to picture. There's probably 300 people, 50 people per escalator, on it, and people
So
waiting.
all of them
on.
started going backwards?
No, there's 3 of them going up,
Oh,
and the
okay.
one in the middle stopped and went down, and then not just like down.
Did
I'm
anyone
talking
fall and then
like a
knock
bullet.
everyone else down? Because that would be amazing.
It would have sucked to be the person at the bottom, though, that has suddenly 50 bodies on top of them.
Yeah, and that's pretty much. And then there's people in line trying to get on the escalator, not knowing what's happening because it happened like so fast.
Wait, so
Were
there are
there,
people
like,
coming
stairs
down, piling
beside
up,
this
and the
queue?
people in line are still pushing forward to try to get on?
Kind of, or they just not know what's happening, or they're getting squished too by people. I mean, it was. I know you guys. It sounds funny because it's an escalator incident, but
Because it's hilarious.
yeah. Well, anyway. Yeah, it wasn't funny, guys. It's actually a lot of people got hurt.
I'm sorry. It's just the term escalator incident.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Well, anyway, I ended up having, I don't know if it was just from the adrenaline coming off or the fact that I wasn't able to help anybody. Like later on that day, I kind of got like an anxiety attack or panic attack or something. So I got checked out by a medic because like my whole left side of my body went numb. And, I had a hard time breathing and stuff, so I wanted to get checked out. So anyway, because of that, they took my name, and so then everybody who was part of that escalator incident, he basically sent a person I had a letter to saying, say sorry you couldn't make the show, and we really want to make sure that you guys are taken care of because you guys are frontline runners and stuff. So hope you're getting better, and here's some free goodies.
Wow. So he gave everyone a free copy of Borderlands 2.
Yeah, he gave all store managers got one originally anyway, and then he gave everybody else another copy.
Wow.
Like us here. So I got a copy of that. So now I have 2.
Well,
and
you know where you could send one where it'll have a good home.
yeah, that's true. It's that, or I traded in for $30.
Not worth it.
Or I can give it to you, and you can actually play with me on Xbox Live.
Yeah, about that. I don't have Xbox Live.
Oh my god!
I suppose I could get it. That'd be cheaper than buying the game.
You could. You only need a 3-month.
But then I'd need to play my Xbox.
Yeah.
We'll
World
discuss
problems.
this at a later date.
Seriously.
All right.
So you were
That's a good idea.
saying a little bit ago you had an idea for a game we should play.
Yes, because I'm looking over here, and I want to play Dragon Power.
Dragon Power?
Yup.
The hell's Dragon Power?
Dragon Power is a DBZ game they made for the Nintendo NES. Before DBZ came over to America, before the 13 episodes of Dragon Ball aired on early morning television at 6 a.m., this is their first rendition of bringing the game over. And they changed Goku's face a little bit, and they gave him a headband that made it look like more of the 80s karate style, theme. And they took out some of the horniness of Master Roshi. But it's a
dumbed it
DBZ
down.
game. They dumbed it down for kids, and there's a lot of humorous stuff in there because the way they dumbed it down, and they made it fun. And I have a copy of it here.
Oh boy.
And that's why I'm thinking we should tackle that one.
I have it, so
Because I have a feeling, if I remember right, it was pretty awful.
I feel like we need to get some shitty games going on here.
Yeah, I'm kind of excited for that, actually.
What type of game is it? Because I've never played a single DBZ.
It is it's kind of like set up like Dragon Warrior.
So is it an RPG?
It's kind of an action RPG. I remember God, I haven't played it in a while.
Because I'm looking at a screenshot of it right now, and it looks I'm not gonna say bad, but it looks pretty bad.
It's bad. Let's be honest.
This is
graphically
what I'm
it's
looking
not,
at.
It's not the greatest thing in the world.
Lots of earth tones, and then
Oh,
a guy
I'm
in a pink
so
leotard.
pumped for the outfit.
Yeah, he looks like he's
I
trying
think
to
I
high
picked out
five
my
that
Halloween
dragon.
costume.
Super.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So it's kind of like it's got the.
And then are those dog heads on roller skates up there?
No, those are the Those are the.
I don't think a dragon from the side looks like a dog on a roller skate.
No, that's the one that's flying there. That's that dinosaur that flies.
Yeah, a pterodactyl.
But these are those dogs from the army. Remember the army, the Blue Ribbon Army and stuff. The dogs that were.
If you're asking me to remember DBZ stuff, I've got zero memory.
I'm actually making you reserve Dragon Ball, not DBZ.
I don't know Dragon Ball at all.
So it kind of plays
Dragon
like
Ball.
that. I'm getting confused because I played another Dragon Ball game that was on my Game Boy.
Okay.
And that played a lot like the one on like Dragon Warrior, the overtop view. This one here is kind of like the Zeldish.
I'm kind of excited for this.
Okay. I've got another game we could play too. That this it may suck, but it is a very 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 special game in my childhood. Have you ever heard of the game Bucky O'Hare?
Bucky O'Hare.
No.
Bucky O'Hare. It's kind of this. I think it was a cartoon back from the 80s, or a comic book character.
Oh, yeah.
But they did an NES game out of it, and it was actually very cool. I used to show you how much I like this game. I used to sit and just doodle in like first and second grade the Bucky O'Hare characters and his spaceships and everything. And it's just it's a pretty generic side scroller shoot 'em up type game, but to show you how generic the storyline is, Bucky O'Hare is like this space pilot, and 4 of his partners get kidnapped, and they get taken to the red planet, the green planet, the blue planet, and the yellow planet, and that's what they're called.
Become a renegade space rabbit and Bucky O'Hare.
Yeah.
It seems the Toad Empire has captured Bucky and his crew. Become Bucky and bust the others out of jail. Once you get a crew member out of jail, you can use his or her special fighting skills to get through the remaining stages. All of the skills needed to defeat the elite Storm Toad Troopers and double bubble high-speed Toad Armada tanks. See if you can make it through all 8 levels in Bucky O'Hare.
I'm so excited that they decided to include the typical girl character.
Yes.
Who is super pretty and like a little feisty but gets into trouble. That's what I'm really excited about.
It's a fun game. I was trying to find an NES copy of that for the longest time. I still cannot find it. If I remember properly, it kind of resembles Mega Man to a little bit. It's not nearly as difficult, but the style of the gameplay is a little bit like that. So
okay, so the only way I'm able to play this game is through the emulator.
Yes.
So you're gonna have to hook me up with an emulator.
We don't talk about that on the show.
No, because the FBI could be listening.
Yes, we don't want to get shaken down.
No. That's the only way I'm able to play, so I may not be able to play since I don't have one.
Well,
do we want to play both then?
Oh yeah, we got to play more than one game.
Right.
And then I think we've really been hitting the NES hard. There's a lot of good stuff on there.
There's a lot of good stuff on the Super Nintendo too. We could switch. And I like Sega. Sega only had about 5 titles that I'd really recommend.
Yeah, we'll get to that eventually. You guys want to do some emails?
Sure.
Let's do it.
All right, we got one from good old Vic Mees here. This guy likes to write in. He's got good questions. He says, "Hey!" A lot of spaces after that.
Hey. How's it going?
I just got my hands. This guy lives in Finland, so for him to get anything retro is a momentous feat. I just got my hands on a mint copy of Blaster Master, an old favorite of mine, and it got me.
I love Blaster Master.
Yeah, and it got me thinking. We've all heard the DuckTales and the Mega Mans, but what are some of your favorite retro? He puts tunes. No one seems to remember. I think he meant games. No one seems to remember. I call dibs on Boy and His Blob, of course. Blaster Master. Vic Mees. So I think he wants to know what our old favorite games are that people don't necessarily know about.
Well,
I'm gonna.
I got to think of something else because Fax Sanity is the one that I always say because nobody's ever heard about it till now.
Well, I'm gonna say
But-
Bucky O'Hare. Like that for me
That-
was that was a staple of my childhood. When we didn't own a Nintendo, before we owned one, we used to go to a store called Wetstein's and rent an NES system, and I always wanted to get Bucky O'Hare, and my mom was like, don't you ever want to try anything else? I'm like, no, I want to play Bucky. I think I even had Bucky O'Hare pajama pants. I'm going to see if I
That's
still
cute.
have them in my hope chest.
I hope you don't.
Did you just say your hope chest?
My mom's got a
Yeah,
hope
let's-
chest with our stuff in it from kids.
I feel like we need to reevaluate this.
Shut up.
No, seriously, what is a hope chest?
You don't know what a hope chest is?
No.
It's
No.
it's something that it's not mine personally.
All right, it's
It's-
what ladies have
Yeah.
to keep their private stuff.
It's a nice cedar chest that serves as a chest to keep momentum. What the fuck word am I trying to say? Mementos. There's the
Ladies?
word.
I don't know.
You don't keep babies in a hope chest; they'd
No, I
suffocate.
said ladies.
You don't keep ladies in there; they.
No, it's a lady's chest that they keep their private, like their jewelry, it's their stuff in.
No, it's like a big chest, that goes at the end of the bed. Like it's super long. You can use it as
I
like
got
a thing to sit on. I don't know. It's what you keep shit in.
Like a blanket box
Sure.
for like men.
Yeah, I
Or
think it's called a
not
hope chest because it's
ladies
like
in
I
the
hope the
18th
stuff in here
century.
doesn't remind me of how much of an idiot I was when I was a kid.
Hmm.
Okay.
I probably have 3 or 4 of those things, but they're not actually hope chests. They're just containers.
Ah, so they're bins.
Yeah,
'Cause- Yeah, you're not a little girl, are you, Aaron?
I'm not.
Are you saying I am?
I'm not saying anything.
I hate
You're the
you.
one with the hope chest.
It's not me. God damn it.
I call them
Fine.
trunks. I have a trunk, like
Yeah.
an actual trunk.
Oh, okay.
But a trunk and a hope chest are very similar. Only one is actually meant for carrying around things.
But does your
to
trunk
travel
smell of
with.
fine aged cedar?
Oh, it does. It's probably 200 years old.
I think trunks are usually made out of particle board.
Well, this is a heavy duty one.
Oh,
It'd
this
be one
is-
like you'd find buried under the sea for years. And then open it up and everything's is fine.
Buried under the sea,
Under the sea.
Oh,
'Cause it's
okay.
in the water underneath the sea floor.
I suppose. Okay, back to the question. I'm throwing my weight behind Bucky O'Hare.
And
I
Does the
honestly
game-
can't think of anything that's not.
Really popular.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say Bucky O'Hare and Rock and Roll Racing.
I know, like,
I've
we,
seen
we
those.
played, like, NHL a lot when we were younger, but that's
You don't have a
Common.
favorite like
not, like,
I
an
would say
obscure
for
one.
I would say kind of what his question is equating to is what's your favorite modern game, and for me that a lot of people don't know about. For me, it would be Demon Souls. So that's kind of what I'm equating it to is games
okay.
that weren't
So he's
that weren't super popular but were really good in your eyes. And for me,
Okay.
it's Bucky O'Hare.
so he's talking about both retro and new.
Well, no, not new. He just wants to know about retro. I'm just giving you a
Oh.
comparison.
I gotcha. Yeah. Well, Fax Xanadu was for me. I mean, I've said it now. I'm tired. People are tired of me saying Fax Xanadu.
Well, I feel like that wasn't really that popular of a game because I'd never heard of it before you mentioned it.
No, but it was. I
That's
didn't ever
true.
heard of Bucky O'Hare, so how can I say that was popular?
It wasn't.
Well, they had pajamas, so
Yeah. Well,
You're
you know,
good.
the Master Blaster was one of those ones for me too. I mean, Vic, me and you are on the same page. That's the ones that I played
the hell is Master
a lot of.
Blaster?
Master Blaster was cool. You had this like
Sounds like a really bad rap game.
no, you
I
had
was
this like
gonna
you had
think
this
of
like tank
something
vehicle,
else.
and you got to go around and shoot things and get through different levels and have to actually solve puzzles. I think you had to like move things to get to the next level. It was a pretty tough game, but it was a lot of fun.
Huh.
Oh, Master Blaster, man, that's a good one.
I'll have to...
There's some old Final Fantasies that I don't really like either, but they were
Yeah.
like the offshoots from on Super Nintendo, like Child of Mana or whatever that thing was. It was,
Crap.
I don't know, yeah.
All right. Jess, you got anything?
I can't. No.
No. All right, David. David writes in from his iPhone. wonder if it's the 5.
Mine is.
I got to actually feel one in real life.
Oh my god, it's the same thing as the old one.
No, it's so much lighter.
Oh god.
Oh my god.
And the back is prettier.
The microphone and the
Mac
bottom.
people are sheeple.
You're a sheeple.
God.
Hey, shut up. I just got an iPhone. 5.
Isn't it beautiful?
An iPhone pod.
5.
Oh. Anyway, from David, his iPhone. Maybe his iPhone sent this on his own. I know this is a
we can
retro
iMessage
games
each other.
show, but I was wondering, what are your favorite old movies? I thought that's kind of related since it's retro themed. Keep up the good work, guys. So I don't think he's referring to you in this one, Jess.
Damn it.
Old movies. That's a solid question, I think. It's pretty relevant.
I'll go with I'll throw this one out. There's a ton. I'm a big movie phobe.
Movie phobe?
maybe-
Like you're
maybe
afraid
phobe.
of
Does that mean
movies?
you're
That's a
afraid
bad
of
one.
it?
Movie. What's the one?
Movie-phila.
Moviephilia.
There you go. Moviephilia. That's what it is.
That means you have
Anyway.
sex with movies.
No,
No,
I
it
don't
means
want
you're
that either.
attracted to movies.
No, I'm not
because
attracted
if it's
to movies.
hydrophilic, then it's
Attraction
attracted
usually
to
leads
water.
to sex.
I'm a movie fiend. I like to watch movies.
You just like movies.
There we
we'll
go.
go
I
with
just
that.
like movies. All right.
That took a long
But-
time.
Interesting relation. Roger Rabbit.
Ooh, Who Framed
It's brought
Roger
up.
Rabbit?
Who Framed Roger
That
Rabbit?
was such a good one.
That was a good movie. That movie was freaky as heck.
It's
at
kind of
some
tough to
points
go
near the
back and
end.
watch now.
It is.
Yeah, but it's still awesome.
It is.
But there's a lot of old movies that I could talk about that are just phenomenal, like Flight of the Navigator.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
there's another movie that I used to watch all the time, and I can never remember quite the name of it. But I remember it was about this boy and a girl. I think he was new to town, or she was new to town, and they found this like crane that was underneath the water. It was like literally just a crane, but they thought it was like a monster or a robot or something that they wanted to get out. They had to swim down there and get it, but it happened to be this old crane. I don't know the name of that movie, but I watch it like a lot.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either, but
I would say for me, there's a lot, but ones that stick out in my mind, Top Secret. You ever watched that with Val Kilmer, that old comedy movie?
oh yes,
There's
I
a
think so.
there's a lot of good lines in there.
yeah.
I think favorite old childhood movies. Have you ever seen The Brave Little Toaster?
Yeah.
I love The Brave Little Toaster.
I don't think I've ever seen that one.
Oh, do yourself a favor and watch it. The sequel, not so much. The Brave Little Toaster Goes to Mars. That one
I haven't seen that. Well,
wasn't.
batteries not included.
The hell is that?
You've never seen batteries not included?
No, it sounds
No.
Oh my Lord! Go watch it.
okay.
You're gonna laugh.
Oh,
Because it's the CG's kind of terrible. But Rising Sun.
Yeah, I have like
Man
like
Too
hokey
Little.
movies too.
There's a
like-
lot. That's a whole other podcast, to be honest. So
yeah.
maybe we
But like
should,
Land Before Time, Fern Gully, awesome movie.
Land Before
Never
Time,
Ending
not so much.
Pardon?
Willow.
I
Land
think-
Before Time was amazing.
Wow, I haven't heard the pardon in a while.
The Power of One.
Rocky
All right.
Horror.
Oh my
all-
god.
We can't be friends anymore.
I think the reason I like
Mario
Rocky Horror
Bros.
Picture Show is because I grew up with one girl that was really strange and she obsessed over that and she'd come to school like dressed up in the Rocky Horror stuff. Like, that's weird.
Yeah, we totally would not have been friends in high school.
Probably not.
We were making
Okay.
fun of yeah, I was definitely the awkward.
I didn't say I
couple
made
in
fun of
school.
her. I just said she was.
Sure.
I probably would have asked her out.
Cute. In an awkward way.
Handsome. She was a handsome girl.
Oh,
Well,
man.
I like the ones that were not all like, hey, look at me, yay. I like the down to earth ones.
Oh. Well, I think we kind of, in a roundabout way, answered Jim McCavney's question. What's your favorite retro game? And, well, no, I don't think we did.
No, I don't think so. He asked some different ones, and
What's your, I think, just flat out favorite retro game of all?
Like, are we just
like-
talking any retros? Like,
Anything retro.
anything. Well,
Based on our definition we gave in the last show.
yeah, okay.
So I think my still favorite then is going to be the original Final Fantasy on the NES. And here's why. The game itself was very firsthand. It was the first time you get to have a party of people to play around with, and you get to go in and fight and do the dungeon crawls and have to have a maps and learn how to fight certain monsters and really learn techniques. And it was a very long game, but to me, it's the memories I had playing it with my grandparents.
Oh, yeah.
And learning how to play the game and watching them play and then sharing time playing the game, learning how to get there, and then actually being one of the rare people at that time to actually beat that game.
Well, that game was so revolutionary for its time, people didn't understand what to do.
Right. And that last boss was almost impossible, and some people couldn't even get to it.
Yeah.
And then actually, when you had that Game Shark, a buddy of mine could only get to the end by cheating with the Game Shark.
Jeez.
But if you used the Game Shark, you couldn't get, or Game Genie, that wasn't Game Shark, then Game Genie, you couldn't get into the last level. The code wouldn't let you work. You couldn't use it.
Ugh.
So he never actually got to beat the game. So everybody that ever talked to growing up never actually got a chance to beat the game. So it was one of the very first games that I went to completion on.
I think I'm going to throw my weight behind a series rather than a game, simply because they're all so similar, and it's got to be Mega Man. The whole like Mega Man 1 through 8, the original NES games were just, to me, they were tops. Like you can't beat those.
They were so good.
Yeah, there's even now I'll still go back through and play those games. They're just, my sister and I used to get those and just play through. Even now, when we go on road trips together, we'll have Mega Man Power playthroughs and I don't know. There's just something about those games, the music and the different bosses and how you have to learn which order to beat the bosses in was just outstanding. They've got such high replay value too, because getting through a level is mostly luck. So it's just, you can never master those games.
Right.
See,
I got a
for
buddy
like
here that's a big
similar
fan.
reason. Sorry. Go
ahead.
ahead. I was just gonna say, like, similar reasons. I would say like Super Mario was probably like my favorite series.
Yeah.
Because there's so much, like, the memories there of just like playing with my sister usually. But shut up. I like them though. They're a lot of fun. And you can play them over and over and over again and just kind of like play for 5 minutes and then be done, or play for like hours upon hours upon hours. And
I think that's how it is with Mario 3 for me too, is I can put that in and never be bored of that game. Even though I could play that entire game with my eyes closed and I still love it.
Yeah. No, it's true. Absolutely true.
That's good. I really like the one on the Super Nintendo, probably the best.
Super Mario World?
Yeah.
I don't know. I could get behind that, but I still, if we were to...
3 was really good, but I think 3, I guess to me growing up, got almost overrated just because of the movie The Wizard.
True.
Like, that just brought people into it, and then, you got to see some of that stuff, and you got to play.
But that was the first time that they'd ever really used a mass approach to advertising a game or revealing a game.
Yeah.
And I think that kind of has led to what we see now.
Mm-hmm. No, definitely good. I definitely think Mario 3 was the best one on the Nintendo system.
I think we
That
could have
two
we could have an entire show dedicated to Mario 3, dedicated to any of the Marios or the whole series. It's there's
I did get
nothing-
to meet, I forget his name, but I did get to meet the voice of Mario.
Oh yeah.
Really?
A picture with him, yeah. I'll have to post that on the tweet when I'll look it up and post it on there.
That's awesome.
Awesome.
We've got one more question, and I think you and I, Aaron, were talking about this a while ago. You're a big Final Fantasy person, right?
Mm-hmm.
Ryan Yedinak tweets at us saying, I want you to explain why Final Fantasy VIII has a good battle system, because to me it's broken and too easy. I've often said that the Final Fantasy with the best battle system is 8, and with good reason. I'm not sure if are you in the same boat with me? Do you kind of hold 8 as high as I do?
For the battle system, I hold the game high, but I recently went back to play it I suppose it was about 3 months ago, and it was confusing, the battle system.
It is. I don't think it was as confusing as trying
you had to like, that was the one where you wanted to take their powers or whatever, right? You wanted
it had the draw system.
The draw system.
And I think that was a big step for the Final Fantasy series to get rid of the MP and to introduce it as your characters are now dynamic characters, because you would junction the magic that you would steal to your character, and depending on how much of a certain thing you had junctioned, that particular defense or offense or passive skill would increase. So in battle, if you have Kiraga, 99 Kiraga junction to your HP, you're going to have astronomical amounts of health. But as you use those Kiraga spells, your overall health starts going down. So it becomes this fine orchestra of making sure that you're not using the right, or the too much of one spell that's going to lower this stat on this character. And to me, it just became so much better than having to worry about, okay, I got to go to town and buy this spell, and then, oh shit, I'm out of ether or ether or whatever you want to call it. And
I guess I'll have to go back and play it again, because I don't remember it being broken or easy.
Yeah,
I thought
it
the easiest
was.
one was 10.
Well, 10 was one. 10 was one where they introduced where you could swap out characters, and I think that was kind of a cop out, where if one of your characters started getting really low, you could swap them out.
Yeah, but there was that. But then also, like, I like the system where you got to increase your magic or the skill tree, and you had to go in different routes with the certain characters.
That got boring though. Like
I liked that. I thought that was a fun, little neat feature.
What was that? The sphere grid?
Yeah, the sphere grid. So I thought that was probably the easiest.
Well, I think what was so cool about 8 with the draw system though is that the only way to get the different Guardian Forces or the GFs was to make sure that you try drawing from every enemy, whether it's just a basic crappy enemy or a boss, and then you never know what you're going to get. So there were some ways you could abuse the system and find a really easy enemy that just causes 2 damage, and you could sit and stockpile up on a certain spell. But isn't that the same thing as just level grinding in other Final Fantasies? It's just a different type of level grinding.
Right. Yeah, I definitely want to play. I thought the other thing that game introduced was that card game.
Yes.
I think it was phenomenal.
I was
played that
so mad because I had the original Final Fantasy VIII strategy guide that actually had all of the main characters' cards and the GF cards in the back, like that were actually used in those games. And then I left it sitting on my coffee table one day. My dog chewed it up. And
I think I have it.
You cannot find that guide anywhere anymore that has the original cards in it. Like it was a first run print.
I'm pretty sure I got that.
So
you would.
Yeah, I would. Jessica.
That's awesome.
Wow. Well,
Yeah.
that's it for
That's cool.
emails.
And to go back to last week's email, or last week's topic from an email write-in, Jack, I do want to apologize for my rendition of your email when I read that. I did see your comment on the Factory Sealed Episode 2 comment thread, and I understand what you mean exactly. I'm the worst typer, especially if I'm doing it on my phone and the autocorrects and the apostrophes. But I hope you knew that I was just joking when I was reading that out loud, like the guy from Office Space.
Oh, it's good stuff. If you want to write in to have us answer your questions, factorysealed@manatank.com. If you want us to play a favorite game of yours from your childhood, tell us about it. We'll try to play it. I can't promise we're going to like it, but we'll try it, won't we?
We'll do our best.
And
Yes.
we'll try not to tear your childhood apart if we don't like it. So I think that's going to do it for the show. Yeah. You can follow me on the Twitters at Honest Pizza.
The Twitters.
I'm finally on Twitter again. I was off there for a while. I got my new phone and couldn't log in.
Oh boy!
But now you can do everything on Twitter with your iPhone 5.
Bah.
That's it. That's
Whatever. You're just jealous.
You're totally right. I am. not.
Yeah.
Not.
Whatever. Anyway, good luck with your other phone.
Thanks. I appreciate it.
Aaron, where can we find you?
You can find me at Aaron Robison.
You gonna spell that for us?
ARON ROBISON.
Are you gonna switch that to Johnny Applebasket?
Can I switch it? Can I switch? Do I have to start a new thing?
Yeah, you can
Or
just
I go
switch
in
it
and
over.
change it?
Yeah, there's something you have to like change it and then log out and then log back in and then something. But it's possible.
All right, I'll look into it. Maybe I'll change the Johnny Applebasket.
Or
Or,
quilted tunic.
Yeah, at Quilted Tunic. Or I'm starting up a new campaign. So I might use one of my new NPC guys I'm gonna make. Who knows?
The possibilities are limitless.
It's crazy.
If you guys listening want to get on my table, let me know. We can Skype it.
That would be hilarious. So much fun.
Jess, where are you at?
At Jessica Megan with no I.
It's
And Megan spelled the proper way, Megan.
Don't you just pronounce it Megan?
No, it's Megan.
Yeah,
Legitly Megan.
Eric.
I
Yeah, Mr.
dated a
P.
girl named Megan.
Yeah, and she's retarded and spelled her name wrong.
She had an H in there.
Yeah, so then that's Megan.
How does it matter?
Because Megan is Megan. Megan.
I feel like if the H were before the G, it would make a difference, but it wasn't. It was
I don't think I've ever met a Megan with an H in it.
Meghan. So that would be Megan by your pronunciation.
I always get an Megean.
Yeah, well, I'm right, so it doesn't really matter.
I forget. We have a girl in our midst. She's always right.
True.
Yeah, Mr. P.
Shut up. And on
I
that
like
note,
when we pick on Eric.
we're going to bid you adieu.
All right. Well,
Don't
goodbye,
forget
folks.
to subscribe to us on iTunes. Leave us a rating, because I don't know about you, but it makes me feel good.
Only when it's good. Only leave good rating.
We
Yeah,
got
give us
one
a 10
bad
out of
one,
10.
but it's okay.
10 out of 10.
I don't think iTunes goes up to 10, so you give us a 5.
Give us a half a 10.
You could give us 2 5s, and that'd be a 10.
10. Firefly, you have anything to say? No, he's not like a light. We must have put him to sleep.
All right.
Like
All
most
right.
of our listeners by now.
Toodles.
We are going
Bye.
to be back maybe next week, maybe 2 weeks. We'll let you know.
Happy Thanksgiving to all the Canadians. Yay.
Why do
Yeah.
Canadians always have to throw a wrench in everything? All right, we'll see you next time.